The Pokemon world is full of little mysteries yet to be solved. What really is missing, though? What really happened in the Kanto War? And what is this magical pearl on Spoink? It's so hard to determine because if it stops bouncing, it dies. I just want to examine you, Spoink. Please just stop bouncing. I don't want to kill you, though. But one such mystery is, why can the Pokemon Cryogonal and LennSan, for that matter, learn the move Attract? Those are the last Pokemon you would assume could learn that move. But also, remember Cryogonal? This is one of those Pokemon that people often forget exists. Like that other one. I don't remember its name. Tell me in the comments what Pokemon I'm trying to think of. It's the one that, like, it says its own name, and it has superpowers. I don't know. It's one of the ones people forget all the time. Anyway, one quick bonus theory brought to you by Swagbucks is that Cryogonal uses Attract as a way to gain free cash for Pokemon cards or in-game currencies. I guess Cryogonals don't know about Swagbucks, a website I've used in the past where you can take surveys, play games, and watch videos in exchange for points. And then those points can be exchanged for gift cards and even PayPal cash. It's an easy way to earn a little extra pocket money. And right now, Swagbucks is giving away $5 to everyone who signs up with the link at the top of this description. And a huge thank you to Swagbucks for supporting this channel by sponsoring this video. Now then, why is Cryogonal learning Attract strange? Well, it's simple, really. The move Attract is a move wherein the user will attempt to infatuate the opponent's Pokemon, but it only works if the opponent's Pokemon is of the opposite sex. There are a large number of Pokemon that don't have a sex, because they are constructs or elementals. So obviously, having no sex to begin with means there is no opposite sex. So these sexless Pokemon don't learn the move Attract because it would be useless to them. That is, except for a few exceptions. And those exceptions are Mew, but Mew's whole gimmick is that it can learn almost every single move, Cryogonal, Staryu, Starmie, LennSan, and Minior. When these Pokemon use the move Attract, because they are sexless, the move fails every time, making it a completely useless move. But here's the thing. Staryu and Starmie only could learn Attract in Generation 2 when the move was introduced, but in Generation 3 and beyond they can't learn it anymore, meaning that them knowing it in the first place was a mistake, and Game Freak fixed it later. And LennSan and Minior may be the same way. Pokemon is such a huge game that little mistakes like this can happen all the time, but usually things like this get fixed by the next game. So as of making this video, we don't know if LennSan and Minior are meant to have Attract or not, because they are from the most recent games. But Cryogonal is from Black and White, meaning they have had 4 chances at least to fix that. And they haven't. Meaning, it's likely intentional. But why? Well, here are a few possibilities, a few theories, if you would like to put it that way. Look at this thing. It must be so sad being as ugly as it is. Maybe it learns Attract as a means of possibly being shown love for once in its life. But it fails. Every time. Because no one could love something that ugly. Another possibility is that its very perfectly smooth, icy body is somewhat reflective, like a mirror, and it tries to use Attract as a means of showing the opponent's Pokemon itself, in hopes that the Pokemon is narcissistic. But most of them are not, so it fails. Now, of course, those first 2 possibilities are silly little guesses, but now let's actually look into Cryogonal's etymology and origins and try to figure this one out. Cryo comes from Greek, and it means extreme cold or frost. Makes sense considering Cryogonal is said to be at negative 148 degrees Fahrenheit. Gon, or gonal, as in polygonal, is also Greek, and it means a closed plane figure having 3 or more usually straight sides. So, geometric shapes. This also makes sense considering that Cryogonal is a snowflake, and not the kind you want to punch, an actual, regular snowflake. And snowflakes are some of nature's most beautiful geometric shapes. A Pokemon that is a large snowflake is strange though. Where do Cryogonals come from? Well, according to the Pokedex, they are born in snow clouds, so they really are just giant snowflakes that have come to life. They can even die if it gets too warm. They melt into steam, but then if you chill that steam again, they recover. Man, what a strange life form. They certainly seem to be based on elementals. Elementals are common in all sorts of media and mythology. Basically, it's some classical element or classical element variant that comes to life, and they may or may not be anthropomorphic. Fire elementals are just flames that are alive. Earth elementals are living rocks. Variants of the two are lava elementals. There are, of course, also water elementals, and a water elemental variant is the ice elemental. In Pokemon, this is Cryogonal, and this may have our answer. Cryogonal's name comes entirely from Greek, and looking back at ancient mythology, modern elementals date back all the way to Greek mythology. It wasn't like this exactly, though. Over centuries and millenniums even, definitions changed slightly. It was around the 16th century that German alchemist Paracelsus identified various mythological beasts as elementals. This was the beginning of the switch from the old definition to the more modern one. The old definition was much more broad, while today media portrays mermaids as mermaids and elementals as elementals. Back then, they were one and the same to an extent. A mermaid was an elemental. Salamanders and dragons were fire elementals, etc. Elemental and nature spirit go hand in hand. So, if you go back far enough, the original water elementals in Greek mythology were originally called nymphs. And with that little bit of knowledge, some of the more mythology or language buffs watching this may already know where this is going. Nymphs were a type of mermaid, sort of. They were like if you took a mermaid, cut off the fish part, and gave her a human bottom too, making them just human again. But only in looks. They can still live and breathe underwater, and they can even control water to a minor extent. They also don't age and are permanently beautiful maidens. Do you see where this is going? Nymphs are most famous for one thing: their promiscuousness. They would very easily seduce men all the time, and would even seduce gods now and again, they were so beautiful. And this aspect of nymphs was so well known that it created the term nymphomaniac. Being a nymphomaniac means you are a woman with abnormally excessive sexual desire. There is also the term nymphette, a term that is used to identify a sexually promiscuous little girl, as in completely illegal, so keep Pedo King away! From the 1600s to the 1950s, calling someone a nymph was much more common. It was the equivalent of calling someone a slut by today's standards, but in the 1960s, the use of the word dropped. Anyway, enough of this sidetrack. So, Greek sexy attractive nymphs are a form of water elemental, as of middle-aged alchemy, which over time formed our modern-day interpretations of elementals. Also, according to other Pokemon theories, since Generation 4 or 5, Pokemon has been based more and more on alchemical concepts. So, that may have something to do with it. So, why does Cryogonal learn Attract? Because it is an ice elemental, a branch of water elemental, the first of which were nymphs. In fact, that would also explain Delmise. Many paintings of nymphs depict them alongside ships and shipwrecks. In fact, sirens, mermaids, and undines are all branched from water nymphs. And sirens seduce pirates off of their boats just to kill them and send them to a watery grave, just as Delmise's name insinuates. So Delmise may know Attract for the same reasons Cryogonal does: the mythology involved. Both are water-based too. But then what about Minior? A meteor? A shooting star? Well, the Pokedex entries state that this Pokemon was born from mutated nanoparticles in the ozone layer, so it's a sort of air or space elemental. Well, the water nymph is just the first incarnation of the nymphs, but later, though still in ancient Greece, there would be underworld nymphs, land nymphs, wood nymphs, and even celestial nymphs, seducing the gods. The Asterae were nymphs that from the ground just looked like stars. When traveling, they would shoot around. The Hyades, or Hyades, were starry nymphs that brought the rain, and were formed into the Hyades cluster. And some tales would speak of these celestial nymphs falling from the heavens like a shooting star and getting involved in human affairs for a while. And that may also be why Minior can learn Attract. They all still fail, of course, because I mean, look at them. But they may be able to learn it as a callback to their origins, their mythological ancestry, and their elemental abilities. Either that, or it's just completely overlooked by Game Freak, and they don't even care about it. Regardless, this was a lot of fun to look into. And hey, if you're in need of a little bit of extra pocket money, remember Swagbucks, the sponsor of this video? Their link is still there at the top of the description. Huge thank you to them again, and a massive thank you to you for watching this video. Especially this far. Like, I don't even know what you're doing anymore. It's the end screen. Come on. Get out of here. I love you so much. So until next time, please remember to never stop using that noggin, and here are some other awesome videos. Yeah. Thanks. Bye.